Hello, my lovelies. This is Paisley Wild, and my microphone's in the wrong spot. And we are off adventuring into the spaces between. I hope you guys are just having a fantabulous day that ends in Y. And we're being broadcast live, of course, on Truth Frequency Radio, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and TalkStream Live, and also on YouTube. So hi, YouTube. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button, the like, subscribe. You know the drill. You've done this before. And no matter how you are hearing, do make sure you stop in and say hello in one of the chat rooms, or shoot me the email at wildepaisley@gmail.com. That's WILDEPAISLEY @gmail.com. Drama is out hiding in... Actually, she's out hunting. She brought me a rabbit the other day. Whew. This is Marlin. Marlin doesn't want to be on YouTube yet. He's not big enough. Let's see. If you want to check out who I am, what's going on, that kind of thing, you can always go to PaisleyWild.com. If you want to just support my radio habit, you can also do the cash tag, and that is $TheSpacesBetween. And as long as you're doing the online stuff, the research and everything else, you can also go to ialife.com. ialife is the official sponsor for Truth Frequency Radio. ialife combines the best non-psychoactive properties of the ayahuasca with some high-quality CBD to support you in the things that you do. Because you know what? Sometimes we just need all the support we can get. I gotta tell you. So, hi. I hope you guys are having a good day or evening. Yes. Just so you know, I understand the news is just kind of vexing. So we're not going to talk about the news tonight. We're going to talk about fairs, because it's fair time here in Bonner County, North Idaho. And yeah, I like going to the fair. I've always enjoyed going to the fair. I was a 4-H kid. In addition to being a band geek, it was fun. Yeah. Yeah, Jessica says she brought you a rabbit. That's an honor. Actually, she brought me a rabbit leg. There was nothing left of the rabbit but the leg. And I saw the chickens running around like they were chasing each other. And they do that when they catch mice, which is kind of funny. But so I glanced out the window, and here the lead hen had grabbed a unlucky rabbit foot from the front step and was racing through the yard with it. So yeah, apparently my fat cat feels that I'm not fluffy enough as I am. Yeah, gotta love the kitty, right? She does not really appreciate Merlin being in the house, but he thinks she's just the bee's knees. But they'll get it sorted. Yeah, they will. I have faith. Let's see, what's new in the world today or this week? Well, it's rained. Actually, we had a lot of rain. We even had flood watches locally, so our fires are in much more control now than than they were 2 weeks ago, or a week ago even, and that's been awesome. And the weather's been significantly cooler. The high tomorrow is 66 degrees Fahrenheit. In August. Normally we have the triple-digit weather in August, not in July. And yeah. But it's lovely out. The rain came and washed a lot of the smoke out of the atmosphere, and so it's been really, really nice having the windows open and breathing the fresh, clean air again. Actually, it's been awesome. But of course, it hasn't rained for like 3 months, and it's Fair Week, so it's raining, which makes no sense. I know it makes no sense, but what do you do? Yeah, Fair Week. As a kid, I very much enjoyed doing the 4-H projects. I participated in the different clubs as much as I could. I did rabbit and pig and chicken and horse. And then I also did some craft type things like flower arranging and sewing, that sort of thing. I enjoyed it. The ability to do ceramics, that was one I did. And I had fun doing it because that participation in community, there's not, I know, Leo, and I'm getting rain. It's just ironic. It's Fair Week, so yes, it's going to rain. At least it's not snowing. Knock on wood. And yeah, I personally enjoyed the ability to interact with my peers, learn new things, and then at the actual fair, go see the different booths and exhibits and the livestock, the petting zoos, the rides, the junk food, all of that. And it was just fun. It was fun and interesting, and I enjoyed it. There's nothing quite like the smell of a fair. You've got the earthy, yeah, we'll leave it at earthy farm smells from the livestock, and the sweet smells from, the vendors and such, or the fried smell, like elephant ears and funnel cakes and caramel apples and all of that stuff. And then just the people out and about having fun and interacting, and kids running around and playing games and watching the rodeo and the horse activities like the barrel racing and the calf roping. And then there's always the demo derby because yeah, we're in America. Demo derby. Yeah, funnel cakes. I have to learn how to make funnel cakes gluten-free. Yes, I must, because there's just no other. Funnel cakes, gluten-free funnel cakes. Those are going to be in my future. So yeah, it's just a time of community. When I was little in the Midwest, which is the breadbasket, the farm country, in Iowa. We had a parade also that went through downtown, and with candy and having fun, and the people in horse 4-H, or the rodeo queen, they rode their horses through town in the parade, and the fire trucks and throwing the candy and all that. And it was just that sense of community. It wasn't as patriotic as, say, the 4th of July or or like Christmas, that wasn't as cold. It was summer, late summer activities. And, it just, gotta love a good fair. And so I got to thinking, being Fair Week, I should talk about the history of the fair a little bit. And if you do want to chime in with your own fair memories, I totally get it. And that number, because I forgot already, was 213-233-3998. Or if you're across the pond in the UK, it is 44203-393-2871. So, county fairs in general. All right, sorry, I just want to make sure that Merlin wasn't someplace he shouldn't have been. County fairs in general started as more of a market, It was a place, crossroads or a village or something, major trade routes, that sort of thing. Yep, Merlin. And it's a spot where people could go and display their crafts, their skills, their produce, their livestock, and often there were, entertainers there as well. And there are other activities like horse races were pretty popular because, hello, who doesn't want to see how fast your horse can go? Or there was, it's a little redneck, I get it, but mule jumping contests, mule jumps, just how high can your mule jump? And, there's, log poles and that kind of thing. All of that brought the community together. And it happened often in the later summer after a lot of the produce was harvested. And so you knew what you had put away for yourself, to survive the coming winter. But often there was a little bit extra. And so that's what you'd take to market to see, what you could barter it for or trade it for. Or maybe you had an extra calf or two, that kind of thing, and you were ready to sell it off and trade it for something that you didn't raise. Because not everybody had the lawnmower races. Yes, those are so redneck, but they're awesome. Same with cardboard floats. So basically it's how long can your cardboard boat float? Those are fun too. Anyway, so, yeah, just totally squirrel moment. Lawnmower races. Yes, those are hilarious. So, the gunny sack race, the three-legged race, all those community activities. But what I was saying is not all homes or homesteads or steadings, however you want to put it, were able to do all of the things. They couldn't all, raise the livestock and the, the produce and, harvest the grains and the hay and cure the hides and make the shoes. And not every farmstead had the artisans available to do all of the things. And not every family had enough people in it to do all those things. Now, instead, they would focus on just a couple of activities, like maybe raising sheep, or having a big garden or whatever. And then they would that's when they would take the extra to the fair or the festival, if you will, to barter and then exchange for other things that they didn't have. And this way of bartering, in a way, it makes things very fair because you are trading what you have and you find something of value to you. And so instead of saying, hey, that's worth $20, and someone says, no, it's not, it's only worth 10, you say, no, I need 20 out of it. And they have to give you $20 or they don't buy it. Instead it was, these shoes are pretty cool, but they don't fit us, so I will sell them to you or trade them to you for, 3 fish, whatever it was that gave equal value to both people. And we've since gone away from that, and there for a while we were on the gold standard, now not so much. And the way of trading and the marketplace exchanges have really changed. It's not that trade thing anymore. But the fairs originally, it was not just for posterity and putting stuff in the larder and getting rid of your excess. It was a really huge socialization opportunity. So people would come together and they'd gossip. Oh, did you hear, Aunt Bessie, she did this, and Uncle Charlie did that, and there all these different things came together, and young people got to meet other young people because a lot of the folks at their farmstead, they were related, and you didn't necessarily want to go kissing on your cousin. Instead, you're going to look outside of the family, right? And so that's where you go to the fair and you meet other people. So there was a lot of hand fastings and marriage celebrations during these festivals also, because it's like, hey, it's kind of cute. Let's go over there, or, we have got two families next door. They want to make sure there's no arguments over their fence lines. And so they have two of their kids get married. That in a way that really led the way to a lot of the fiefdoms and the knights and everything that happened during the medieval period. But also, it kept that sense of community or that sense of responsibility to one another, and not just like, well, we're conscripted into the king's army. No, it was like, well, those are my grandkids over there. Yes, I'm going to fight for them. And you know what? That's my grandpa over there. Of course I'm going to fight for him. And it was a way of solidifying ties within the communities also. And then there's also lots of amusement. So this is where a lot of the storytellers would go, the puppet players would go, the people who played the lute or the pipes or whatever, the bards, if you will, the minstrels. Sure, they went around to the different homesteads, on their travels, but often they would go to these fairs specifically because they'd make more money there. And if they were good enough, they would catch the eye or the ear, if you will, of someone important or had a big enough home that maybe they could winter there. And it was just this constant trade and exchange of ideas and processes and news. And here in the U.S., we didn't really have those initially because, well, we were in the wild, if you will, for a long time. We really were. And it wasn't until about the 1700s and mid-1700s that King George decided, no, you guys need to trade some things and get it figured out before you ship stuff back to England. And, if you really want the tea, you're going to figure it out. And after that, it, of course, spread throughout the rest of the U.S., and now there's a county fair in almost every county. I'll say almost. And often there's regional counties, or regional fairs. So we've got Bonner County Fair, we've got Boundary County Fair. We don't have a Kootenai County Fair, instead we have the North Idaho Fair. And then we got Spokane Fair. And, the different venues, depended upon where you were at. And it, man, has it changed. Can you imagine, instead of combining, today's fairs, the county fair with a Renaissance fair? Talk about the insanity, jousting competitions and sword fighting next to, your pigs being shown and barrel racing. Oh my goodness. Okay, hold on. Justin wants me to look at a link, or he wants all of us to look at a link. Copy address, and I will have to save that somewhere. I want, sure, Justin, you give me something to do, middle of the show, and I'm supposed to remember to do the things. That's not it. There. Now I won't lose it. Sorry. Lawnmower jousting. Okay, I would pay to see lawnmower jousting, Leo. Had to go to Home Depot today because I needed some things, and we got a new mop. And of course, Mini-Me sitting in the cart because she wanted to sit on the briquettes because barbecue. And the mop is just sticking straight out the handle. It's like, yep, jousting with grocery carts. Doesn't that sound like a good time? Sorry. It was fun, right? The county fair has been something that's just progressed throughout the years here in the U.S. And now as we have become more industrialized and more suburbanized, the county fairs are kind of dying out a little bit, and it's more regional fairs, and it's not quite the same. Instead, now we're getting a lot of like farmers markets. So yes, ready for Halloween. Yes, farmers markets are similar to the fairs of yesteryear, but without a lot of the same entertainment, but a lot of the exchange of produce, which I love. Speaking, I may have to go to the farmers market tomorrow because I haven't been in a while, and yeah. Anyways, but fairs in general, those have been around since mankind wanted to trade things. I mean, really. Okay, Justin, I just about spit my coffee. Greased pigs. Yeah, everybody put your hand in the air. How many of you chased a greased pig in the day? I did. I caught my 4-H pig that way. Yep, it was fun. And free pig. Yep. It was a good time. And, I think every kid should do that once. Greased pigs. It was fun. Oh, and the mutton busting. Sorry. Totally just squirrely moment. So, before Britain started becoming an empire, they didn't invent the fair. Fairs have been around forever. They used to pop up in the oases, in the deserts. They would pop up in the cities, wherever. Leo, I agree. And, those periodic gatherings were important, not just to exchange, materials, but also to exchange ideas. Often that's where you would meet people from other regions that you might not have met in the regular course of life. So, in a way, the progression of Christianity, for instance, and its infringement upon paganism, happened at a lot of those fairs, because is a place of people gathered together, and you hear stories, you tell stories, and in that storytelling, they were able to use that as a way to morph the people's beliefs and traditions away from the paganism and closer towards Christianity, and make it more acceptable for Christianity. And now, with a lot, and it's interesting to me because now, in a way, a lot of the like farmers markets and such, and craft markets and everything, they're going back, and I'm seeing I don't know if insurgents, I'm not sure which surgents that would be, but there seems to be this trend, we'll leave it at that, of people going back to their roots, not just in, trading and the, the bartering and stuff at the farmers markets and the fairs, but also in our beliefs and our traditions, and we're going back to the old ways. And I think we're going to continue that trend because those are our roots. And in order for us to grow again as a society, we need to reinvest our energy into developing our roots. And I think that's what we're doing. Here with the show, and there's many shows out there that talk about paganism and witchcraft and spirituality and such. So it's not just myself, but is a movement out there where people are exploring the old ways and reconnecting with them. And I think that's just pretty freaking fantabulous. So, we are just about to go to first break. And when we come back, we're going to talk some more about fairs and the history of the fairs. And also, we'll talk a little bit about the Renaissance fairs, too. Oh, goodness. Wanda got to eat garden potatoes for the first time this year. She harvested them. You're on.
I was wondering what a garden potato is. So, but she harvested them, so she grew them herself.
Hey, I've been snacking on
Tomatoes.
for a couple weeks now, and our plums are getting pretty yummy, which I'm appreciating a lot. Yeah, what are you doing?
Wondering why this one's not working.
Oh, you'll have to push the power button until it all turns off, count to 10, and turn it back on.
Let's just do Control Alt Delete.
Because that won't work.
Yes,
All right.
it will. Anyhow,
Anyways, go to break. When we come back, we'll keep talking about fairs. I'm sure Don will have some input, and we'll see you in a few. Oh, where's the button? This is starting here, and take the meat. Hello, my lovelies. This is Paisley Wild, and we're off adventuring into the spaces between. Leo says they want to get back to the trading system and actually know your their neighbors and community. So you really want to know your neighbors? Really? Is that a thing? Knowing your neighbors? Ah, goodness. Actually, my neighbors are complicated. One set, really awesome. The other set, complicated. We'll just leave it at that. He's young. And I should not be biased at young people, but sometimes just young. Coffee. So, tonight we're talking about fairs and such. In general, fairs today are considered specialized. I mean, job fair. What do you think is going to happen at a job fair? Well, probably some employers are trying to hire somebody. There's also trade fairs. Often, the different industries will get together and have a trade fair. We have a company here locally called Kochava. It's Kochava, Kochava. Their corporate office is here in Sandpoint, and they are an industry leader in coding for smartphone applications. And they have a festival or fair or whatever gets together once a year. Okay, they have in the past, not necessarily recently, and they have people from all over the world show up, and they talk about trade things like, programming in DOS or Ling or whatever. You know what? I'm not enough of a tech head to know anything about that, so I'm not even going to try. But yeah, and Mr. Don's in the house.
He's temporarily eating though.
So, with the fairs and festivals and stuff, hold on, sidetrack, squirrel moment. Wanda gets a box of fruits and vegetables from the once a week truck. That would be fantastic. Mm-hmm. Fresh produce once a week. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because, this year, actually, I'm kind of surprised I have tomatoes, because generally speaking, our area does not have tomatoes this year because of the
smoke's killing it.
Yeah. Smoke, not enough rain, hot weather. Tomatoes don't really appreciate hot weather. They like warm weather, just not disgustingly hot. So, and, it's funny, go online to look up the history of the fair, and everybody, yes, there's a history of fairs, but everybody wants to talk about their own fair.
There's a history of affairs.
Yeah, those two. Actually, the encyclopedia.com gave me the best information, which is weird. But so originally, when the fairs were getting bigger here in the U.S., and there was competitions, of course, between the gardeners, the cooks, the quilters, et cetera, who has the best 4-H pig, that sort of thing. And then came things like Pawnee Bill's Wild West show. In 1888 is when it started. And, of course, that spawned a whole bunch of similar things, hot air balloons, parachute exhibits, car racing festivals and such. And the merry-go-rounds. Those used to actually have live horses, not just the plastic ones. But the merry-go-rounds, those are just like a fair mainstay. Almost every community that had a fair of some sort ended up with a merry-go-round. I mean, here in Sandpoint, they're trying to get one put back up. Well, I don't think they had one originally, but they're trying to get one. And then down in Coeur d'Alene, Coeur d'Alene actually used to have some really big festivals and fairs. They would have the circuses coming through town. There's actually a city ordinance where you have to clean up your elephant poop as it goes down the street, because back in the day, that big of a pile would not, or if the horses would dodge it and knock your cart over, or your early electric, or not early electric, your early automobile couldn't handle those big piles of poo. So yeah, you would get a ticket if you didn't clean up your elephant poo. So it's interesting how there's, things have changed so much. Wanda says, World Fairs are weird, and where did all the stuff go? Yeah, Spokane had the World Expo.
1974, I think.
Oh, it was 72.
Okay.
Anyways, yeah, World Expo. That was in Spokane. There's been, the World Fairs have been around, but we haven't. Do we still have World Fairs?
Yeah, we just don't hear about them anymore because they don't. Because we don't. Yes.
Really? I gotta look now. World Fair. I have to look. People ask, do they still have a World's Fair? Oh, there hasn't been one in North America since 1986 in Vancouver.
86?
Yeah, those.
Yeah, because I was living in Everett at the time.
The next one, the next World Expo will be in Dubai between October 1st of 2021 and March 31st of 2022.
But they still have it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
As a matter of fact, well, you said it. The last one in North America was in BC in '86. I remember because I really wanted to go.
86. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, that was when I was in high school.
I'm not saying you're old, but that was a long time ago.
Nice.
So, why aren't they in North America anymore? Or in the U.S.?
Because they're the World's Fair.
So, it's how many?
It's not just in the United States. It's the World's Fair.
Yeah, it's been here in 64. It was in New York. 39. It was in New York. 2015. I understand it was in Milan. Okay.
Which is not in New York.
No, but at least it's someplace you know.
Yeah. Dubai is someplace you know.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Justin says World Fairs have always been for big money and globalists to get together and plan. Well, according to what is it? I was just reading. I was reading something here not too long ago, and it said it was specifically for the upper and middle class families would travel to the World Fairs would make pilgrimages across the seas to meccas of modernization to see the wonders firsthand. But the internet has put an end to that. So, and Jessica says, I like county fairs better. Yeah, me too. Although, there was a lot of newness and novelty that came out in a lot of those world fairs, and visionaries were able to put their ideas on display for the world to see.
Right.
And it was, sure, it was catered to, the middle class and the upper class. But nowadays, it seems like everything that's put online is catered to the same people who are obsessed with cat videos. Okay, I'm one of those people, but, it's, okay, cat videos are cute. But it's not necessarily market driven anymore, or maybe it's changed. Instead of targeting 100 people with $100, they're targeting 1,000 people with $10. So maybe it is a better marketing scheme. Interesting. Sorry, totally not pagan or witch related, just interesting.
Well, most pagan fairs and rituals and such like that aren't for pagans and witches anymore either. Let's check out Burning Man. People just go because they don't want to go to Burning Man.
Well, yeah, Burning Man is not really a pagan festival these days. It's more of a place to go be wild and embrace what revelry unrestrained. And, that's not what the fairs were supposed to be.
That's not paganism or anything like that. That's That's hedonism.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Hedonism, not paganism.
Hmm.
Two different words. I'm not saying pagans can't be heathens, but or heathens can't be pagans, but often they don't happen at the same time. They can, just not always. I
Usually they wait for the later hours.
You get after the kids go to bed. Yeah.
Well, maybe not.
Yeah, that's one of the things that contemporary paganism, I not necessarily have an issue with, but kind of a head scratcher is so many of the different rituals everybody assumes are adult or created just for adults. It's like they forget children are out there.
Hmm.
And there's just not much for the kiddos, which is why I wrote a book. I've got another one I'm in the process of illustrating that was supposed to be out a month ago, but life. So yeah, and I think there needs to be more of that. So, looking at the list of the world's fairs,
Uh-huh.
wow,
Okay.
they are all over the place.
Uh-huh.
So, and they're not every year anymore.
They never have been. They've always been every 4 years. Yeah. They used to come right after an election.
So in the 2000s, 2000, there was both in Hanover, Germany, and Greenwich, London, or London, UK, excuse me. 2002 were canceled. One in Switzerland happened. 2004, Barcelona. 2005, Aichi, Japan. 2008, Zaragoza, Spain.
Wow, if I remember right, I thought they were every 4 years.
10 was in Shanghai, 12 in South Korea, 15 Milan, 17 Kazakhstan, 19 China, 21 and 22 Dubai, Buenos Aires for 23, and Osaka for 25. Ooh, Osaka might be fun. But anyways, I don't know, Naysay. Valley Fair is not quite the same.
Yeah, the World's Expo is every 5 years. Has been since 1851.
Okay. So, with the county fairs, originally they were more religious. As I was mentioning, it was a time of festival and celebration, not just getting together and trading horses.
It was the thing.
It was the thing. Are you done? Can I turn your camera on?
Oh, sure.
Oh, it needs to go up a skosh.
I don't know. I can't see it. I can't find the cursor.
You need to go to the left.
To my left or your left?
My left. So you're right. Oh, no, not that. The mouse, the cursor. There you are. No, for some reason it thinks there's a third monitor on your left.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
So, anyways, before medieval period or medieval Europe, it was a festival where everybody just got together. They traded the horses and the stuff, and they had a good time. There's probably music, dancing, that kind of thing, just because why not? It was a party, right? Well, and then medieval Europe, it was often the religious gathering, and then from there, yeah, it's grown, and now we compare the size of our tomatoes and how fast you can shear a sheep, and
How big are your tomatoes?
I didn't say eggplant, I said tomatoes.
Ah.
And then in the New York State Fair was the first state fair in the late 1800s. And it was so popular that they just had to share it around, and everybody started doing it.
Oh boy! Don't even read that. Not out loud. You already read it.
I already read it. I'll just giggle. Totally sidetracked. And holy cow. So supposedly, the Renaissance Fair then started because people didn't want to lose the heritage from the Renaissance period, supposedly, and we'll leave it at that. Just supposedly. And that was in after World War II. About people just didn't want to lose that history, and so the first one was called the Renaissance Pleasure Fair.
That sounds very libertine.
Yeah. And it was supposedly for school-age children and their families, and it was supposed to teach kids about the Renaissance time, and that so the Renaissance itself means to be reborn, or awakening of new ideas, that kind of thing, when light was led into the darkness. And so the Renaissance fairs were to kind of celebrate that diversity of life post World War II, and there's so much things that I'm editing as I read. So it's in a way considered counterculture with the Renaissance Fair, because so much of our culture is technology driven, and the Renaissance fairs are kind of going backwards. Let's see. Trying to read real quickly. I wish people would not do like 10-point font on their websites.
Yeah, Brent complains about it too. He just zooms in on it.
Yeah, but then I mess up my. I just don't want to mess up. Yeah. The computers. So, anyways, nowadays the Renaissance Fair, there's a lot of the handcrafts. So it's kind of a combination of the farmers market with craft fair, because there's like leatherworking or smithing, along with people running around in costumes, and they've made it a little bit contemporary because you don't have to dress in period clothes. Although the SCA, Society for Creative Anachronisms, often run the Renaissance fairs, and they're an interesting group all by themselves. A little fun, but interesting. And there's, I wish there was just more of them, more people to celebrate. I'm not even reading that out loud, Justin. Celebrating the the trades, the hands-on trades, the things that people just don't do anymore, like the leatherworking, or honestly, basket weaving. Every so often I'll poke fun at the underwater basket weavers, but we have a Mennonite store locally.
There are a couple of them.
And, well, there's one over by Minnie Me's Jiu-Jitsu place. And they have pine needle baskets, so it's made out of the long bull pine needles, and they're woven into these beautiful baskets, and it's just, they're amazing. And that's artistry. Glass blowing is artistry. Being able to, throw a pot and not have it look lopsided, and fire it in a kiln. So, the pottery, handcrafted pottery, I think that stuff is awesome. In a way, especially with trade overseas being what it is right now, a lot of the ports shutting down periodically. And forgetting to reopen, or
permanently.
Some of those really big ships getting stuck sideways in a canal.
They had no business being in the first place.
Right. And that kind of thing. And with so many of the trade issues that we're experiencing, I think some of these smaller fair type gatherings, whether they're farmers markets or swap meets or a combination thereof, I think we're going to need to start having more of them to celebrate the local artistry that we have, because I know that, here locally we've got a lot of that, a lot of gifted craftspeople, and the ability to barter for things that we need. Now, what are you doing? Oh, wasn't sure. Merlin stole a pack of those somewhere.
Of course you do, Justin. Look where you live.
Essential oils. Yeah, essential oil perfumes are awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Made with the real oils, not with the... oh, heavens to Betsy Wanda. Sometimes I just can't look at the chat room because you guys are just dropping so many one-liners that my brain shuts off and I can't think. But, that ability to come together as a community to trade, I think, is going to be important moving forward, because we are suffering so many international disruptions to our economy and our trading
When we're
practices.
being limited to how many bottles of water we can buy or how many bags of ice we can buy, if I remember correctly, water is like the ultimate renewable resource.
Yes, except for technically, areas in drought are crying about the lack of water.
We'll tell them to stop sending it to different states and selling it to Nestle's.
Okay, Nestle's just tapped their own faucet and forgot to turn it off.
And to the tune of billions of gallons a year.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Oh, yes. I agree, Justin. So, when we think about, the potential for coming together with swap meets and barter markets and stuff like that moving forward, what's that going to look like? Is it going to be booths like at your local farmer's market? Is it going to be set up in an empty Shopco? Because
because they'll use those for spaces for homeless people, which is going to be pretty much everybody.
Right.
Sorry.
Well, maybe not. I'm still hoping for a strong winner now. Darn it, we need a strong winner. So, it's in a way we need to look at what we have as hobbies now, I think, to figure out what we might be able to bring to the table if we had to go to a barter market of some sort. Because I know that I don't have a litter of pigs that I could trade off, or a couple extra cows, because but it's I have other things that I could trade, other handcrafts and such, and I know that a lot of our listeners have different handcrafts that they can use and trade, and others are fantastic gardeners. Justin, I'm not looking at you, really, sort of. Or Leo with his homestead, that ability to micro farm and get everything you need in a smaller plot. I think that's a fantastic thing, and I think that's something that we need to be sharing also, or that ability, because the yeah, it's up in my plant upstairs.
What plant?
The one next to my lamp.
Which plant? The one in where? Never mind.
It's in the plant.
I've got to figure out which plant.
On the table, next to the lamp. I gave him directions, but I don't know if he knows them. So, yeah. I suppose, yes. When you go to the farmers markets or to your local fair and you're looking at the different crafts that are there, ask yourself, what of those crafts can you do yourself? Could I make a quilt? Yes, I could. Have I? Yes, I have. I actually like it. I like to sew. But there are other things that I do nowadays that I like more. Like if you guys caught any of my TikTok videos, I was gathering rosin the other day for incense. I can do the same thing for, all sorts of different. I've got walnut leaves that I need to gather too. But little things like that, rosin or tradable things such as rosin or sage or cedar for incense. Those are all things that are very tradable because we're always going to need some way to cleanse our spaces. So it is top of the hour. When we come back, we're going to do the singing bowl, and I will show you guys what Don brought me from when he went Bigfooting the other day, a couple weeks back. So be right back, guys. Hello, my lovelies.
What the hell's going on?
Huh?
Are we back?
Yeah, it's bumper music.
On the YouTube?
I don't know what to tell you. You can put your headphones on. Yeah, bum, 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 ba-da-da-da.
I'm confused. Where's my ting-tinger?
Are you... Look underneath the book. The little bitty grimoire. Hello, my lovelies. This is Paisley Wild, and we are off adventuring into the spaces between. Don's got a beaten stick and a UFO. It's singing bowl time, guys.
There you go. And who says I brought her anything back from Kelso? Why would I bring something back from Kelso for her? Gosh, what would they have in Kelso that I'd want to bring back?
Because I know how to make a chocolate cream pie from scratch.
Yeah, but you opened a bag of chocolate chips, which aren't going to last the night.
I opened them up like a month ago, just so you know.
Now they're not going to last the night.
Hey, I made what was it? S'mores in a waffle cone
There was
for snacks yesterday.
there was chocolate chips in that?
Yes, there's chocolate chips and toasted marshmallows and
Nutella.
Nutella. Yes.
In a waffle cone, yeah.
In a waffle cone. And Minnie Me really wanted another one, so I just made her s'mores. And she was really excited. So yeah, beaten stick. So yes, for those of you, it helps if I look at my camera. So, yes, a little goddess figurine. Dude. She's fluffy. But yeah, out of quartz. And she's really awesome. Yes, she was in my plant.
Lost.
No, she wasn't. She was just happy hanging out in the plant.
Sure.
Uh-huh. Yeah, specific lamp with one plant. Yeah, I guess there are plants next to all of the lamps, aren't there?
No kidding.
Now that I stop and think about it, I have just a few plants in the house.
Chevalier things.
Yes, just a few plants. I like plants. They're good for you. They bring oxygen to the air and humidity. And they break up the noise. So. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand, Wanda. I'm still finding things in boxes I didn't know I had. I also got rid of a bunch of stuff, so.
Yeah, I was gonna say things that you haven't looked at in 6 months you don't need.
Poor Dawn and the plants. You know, they're all good for him. Even the cactus. Yeah, I think she's awesome too. So Justin saw you pick out the quartz. So,
Was he there? Were you there when I got that?
oh,
So he's tattling on me.
yeah, he
I
says.
saw it, Don. I know you brought it.
Yes. So she's been.
Yeah, apparently it was.
So yes, I have a plant upstairs that she was sitting in, and I've got my onyx raven there too. So that was probably more hidden. So yes, my raven.
Oh boy.
So Dawn, just putting it out there. Dawn needs an onyx raven and a white quartz raven.
Why do I need a white quartz raven?
Hugin and Munin.
They're both black crows.
Well,
ravens, but they're both black.
some people say one's black, one's white.
So you're saying it is just black and white?
Shades of gray. Iridescence. Pearlescence. So, anyways, first part of the show, we talked about fairs, and we need those again. We need more of them. And as the U.S. has opened up, there have been more fairs and getting together and stuff. Oh, see, you could have been with Justin's wife.
No, that's okay. Yeah, you go ahead and let her go ahead and get those. Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, no, she's lucky to get what she gets.
I have not bought a $180 crystal because...
Was it a single crystal or was it a bunch of crystals? Wow.
There's a set of agate bowls that I would love to have. They're $1,100. They're fantastic, though.
Yeah.
They'd be perfect for rituals.
Sure.
Drinking mead out of. Yes. But
Don't be meadful now.
hey, you notice I have not brought them home. So when I do, though, I will do an unboxing so everybody can see them. Because I'm putting it out there. I want them. Anyways, so yeah, talked about fairs. We need more of them. No, just agates, honey bunch. Oh, 50 Shades of Ravens. That's a different series.
Okay.
And yeah, I think fairs are something important. We need more of them. The farmers markets. I know a lot of places still haven't been able to do the farmers markets. Instead, they're figuring out how to do co-ops and such, and just do remote deliveries and such, which is okay to get the produce and the stuff, but it's not the same as coming together as a community. And I think that coming together as a community is one of the cornerstones and one of the most important parts of having a farmer's market, honestly. Even in the bigger communities, yes, I understand they don't have as many farms available and there are some food deserts. What'd you lose?
Nothing.
Okay. His mind. And, vugs.
Bugs?
Vugs.
Vugs. What's a vug?
I think it's supposed to be bugs. Like an amber? Anyways, in a lot of the big cities, there are some empty business buildings that you could renovate and turn into indoor gardens with enough light, and raise some produce there and fix some of those food deserts, because I think it's going to be needed.
There shouldn't be food deserts.
I know. I think we're going to have to decentrify. That's a big word, right? And figure out a different way to sort out our population densities and clusters. So, in the second half of the show, I was reading an article, and I thought it was interesting because it's something that we are kind of doing here. Now, the title of the article is Presenting Paganism to a Generation of Spiritual Explorers. It's by John Beckett, and this is from pathos.com. He started off with a different article, and I'm going to see if I can link to it because, of course, I click on the link to open a new page, and I didn't do it right. Basically, a lot of the Gen Z generation, if you will, are looking for ways to fashion their own spirituality. And they're doing so through a lot of the social media feeds, in addition to well-established practices that we're using, or we were already using, like tarot, for instance. Tarot's been around for a long time. And it's interesting the number of tarot decks out there. Holy cow. Basically, as many traditions as there are within paganism, there are that many decks, plus, a few more. Oh no, he meant vugs. So Justin said spherolite. Vugs are crystal pockets in mineralized stone or clay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, learned something new. Vugs, it's a real word. So a lot of the Gen Zers don't really have ownership, if you will, or they don't take ownership of a lot of contemporary paganism beliefs. They're looking for a personal connection or that aha moment, if you will. And a lot of them, or about half, use fortune telling or tarot for fortune telling. And a lot of them actually do it at least once a month, if not every day. And they're trying to figure out their own spiritual path, and they're using tools, the esoteric tools like tarot, to figure out what that is, and using divination. And it's interesting because a lot of them are trying to combine the Christianity that they were raised with the esoteric beliefs within paganism. And so I've seen quite a rise of Christian witches, for instance, online, as Don, checks out his nose. And it's interesting to me that they're calling, trying to say specifically Christian witches, because technically, wasn't Moses a witch? He created or performed feats of magic. What about Jesus?
It wasn't feats of magic. That was miracles through the Holy Ghost.
Um,
The power of God. But of course, Moses was before the yeah.
So basically, my interpretation of a lot of Christianity and the miracles and stuff, it's just magic, right? Because we don't understand it. It fits into that realm of magic.
I call it delusion.
We're all deluded somewhat, I suppose, but within Christianity, sure, magic. So that means most of your priests are technically witches, in my interpretation.
Well, yeah. But what's funny is because I've actually been seeing this debate online a lot in the Facebooks and stuff like that.
Is your microphone on? Yeah, it is. You're just not very close to it.
So anyhow, I've been seeing this debate in the social medias, and whether Christians can be witches, and I see a lot of no. It says in the Bible that's heretic. That's it's blasphemy. It's heretical.
Yeah.
God, I can't get the words out.
Heresy.
Heresy, yeah, heresy, and it's just, yeah, and the thing is though is they don't realize that. I agree with your last statement about your priests and preachers and reverends and pastors. They're all up there performing a ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
So how is that not ritual? As a matter of fact, isn't like Mass a ritual?
Yeah.
Isn't Passover a ritual?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't Easter, if they call it Easter, but it's most of the time called Passover anymore. But aren't these things rituals?
Mm-hmm.
So
Baptism. Confirmation. Those are all rituals.
Let's call it what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It is hypocrisy.
Why?
Because they won't. In general, I know we have people who do believe in the Christian faith, and that's absolutely fine. Don't have a problem with that. But the denial of, the denial of the fact that it's a ritual that they perform, on these certain days and for these certain reasons, and they always follow the same script. When was the last time the Catholic Church did anything that wasn't out of their frickin' books? It's a ritual. It's something they do every year,
Mm-hmm.
every this time or every that time. It's a friggin' ritual. So how can you not say that? How can you say that the Bible says to do these things are blasphemy, and yet that's exactly what they are? That's talking out the other side of your face. That's hypocrisy.
Well, it's not the
You can
ritual.
say you can damn it on one hand, but you can practice it just fine because you don't call it a ritual. You call it going to church, going to mass.
Mm-hmm.
So you change the words, and that means something different. Not really.
Well, a lot of the problems that they have is with is they're pagans don't follow Christ. They're not Christians.
Well, but see, now that's satanic.
Not
So
necessarily.
follow. What did somebody posted a picture of a pentacle
Mhm.
in YouTube or Facebook,
Mhm.
and they asked, "What is this symbol?" And some people are like, "It's the symbol of Satan. It doesn't matter which way, if it's upside down or not." Well, if I remember, a pentagram is not a star in a circle. It's just an upside down star. But a star in a circle, no matter which way it's pointing, is still a pentacle.
So is a cross in a circle.
Oh, no way!
Mm-hmm. Or the Star of David in a circle.
That's my point.
So a pentacle is just a holy symbol inside of a circle.
So, but anyhow. Oh, and laying on of hands.
Mhm.
Don't get me on that one either. God. Oh my God. Yeah, how is that not a ritual? Oh
Magic.
my gosh.
That's
Or
the-
magic, yeah. How is that not? It's a ritual. But not if you follow Benny Hinn. Benny Hinn, it's just miracles everywhere. Oh, you shall be healed.
I have no idea who you're talking about.
Benny Hinn. Just one of the biggest faith healers of the 80s, early 80s, maybe late 70s. Was on TV all the time. Oh my gosh.
Okay. Apparently Don had a soapbox he needed to stand up.
Oh God. And then let's not get on speaking in tongues.
Sorry. So, anyways, a lot of the Gen Zers are trying to figure out their own spirituality. They've got a lot of the things that Donna was just talking about that they grew up with. You know, the way contemporary Christianity is practiced. And
You mean the charismatics?
and then there is paganism, and it's becoming this weird blend for the Gen Zers. They're trying, and they don't necessarily want to be part of a specific tradition. They want to make it their own. They're very individualistic in their likeness. It's like any other teenage angst, just about you going out there and I want to be unique and and do my own thing, just like everybody else is doing.
Yeah. It's only special until everybody starts doing it, and then it's not special anymore.
Mm-hmm. So, in a way, going back to being just more pagan and shutting the door on a lot of that Christian style belief, to me, that's more original. That's more unique. That's more special. And a lot of folks, I see the trend, it's like, when am I going to connect with a deity? When am I going to know which deity I'm working with? And that really goes back to that aha moment that everybody's looking for. They want to know when they're truly becoming that special butterfly. And it's not just the Gen Zers. It's a lot of people turning to paganism. And it's interesting to me how many are looking for that yes, I really am a special butterfly, a moment within paganism. They're looking for that thing that is going to make them unique and special.
When are people going to just realize that each one of us are unique and special?
Mm-hmm. But see, that comes from within. And a lot of people in general are looking without for that
Yeah, they want some kind of
confirmation of self.
they want yeah they want outer they want somebody to tell them it's okay, you are a special little butterfly, when
Mhm.
you should already know that you're a special little butterfly. The problem is social dissonance.
Mhm.
This whole, you have to be different. You are different,
Mhm.
but you have to show everybody you're different. All you have to do is be you, and you will be different.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I have
Mm-hmm.
a little sign above my pillow.
Yeah, be yourself because everybody else is taken.
Mhm. And ironically, it's got a little butterfly on it. Um, and that's because, yeah, we are all each unique and special in our own ways. We all have our own talents, our own strengths, our own gifts, our own ways of speaking and interpreting things and communicating with one another. We're all unique in that respect. And the things that we need to look for instead of what makes us unique, I think, is what brings us together. Because there's been too much of that I am unique. And I think that's why we're seeing so much angst and frustration and hatred even in society right now. Because there is that I'm different. Um, the number of videos I see online when someone is just trying to be themselves and somebody's attacking them for it is insane. People coming out saying, well, oh, you voted for Trump, I hope you die. Or, oh, you voted for Biden, I hope you die. It's like, where, why, what's with the hate, guys? You know, tone it down just a bit. And there's no need for that hate to differentiate yourself from everyone else. Just be yourself, for crying out loud.
You know, it's their hate that differentiates themselves. It's their intolerance.
Mhm.
It's their, oh, we're all about love, but I hate everything.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And it's unfortunate that in order to find that common ground, they have to tear everything around them down to their level. And I think that's why we've got so much of the cancel culture going on right now, is everybody's tearing too much down instead of trying to build each other up. Instead of tearing everyone down to your level, build.
Everybody's worried about staying up with the Joneses, keeping up with the Joneses. We gotta be just like everybody else because that's what makes us special, is our things.
Morticia Adams is my hero. That's who I want to be. That's who I want to keep up with.
She's kind of hot too.
Yes, she is. Which one?
The original.
Okay. Yes. So,
There's something special about, that era.
truth. Jessica says, is there still mental space for rent? That's about the only space available for rent these days. Anyway, so going back to this article.
And it's cheap. All you got to do is listen to the GOV.
Yeah, or, have the most glitter. Going back to this article, the author talks about what is negotiable and what is not when it comes to paganism. Because some things are negotiable within our own practices. And you have to figure out what that is for yourself, because it's going to be unique to you unless you're following a specific tradition. For instance, do you have to cast a circle with every ritual or ceremony? No, you really don't. If you are having a hard time focusing your intent and guiding your energies, then yeah, you probably should, because
it helps keeps things near.
Yeah, it keeps things focused and keeps you moving in the right direction. Do you need to have a daily ritual? No, you don't have to, but it's good to have something going on daily to help keep you in touch with that thought pattern, and touch with that changing of thought from what you grew up with to what you are now. So you're starting to change your behavior patterns and your thought patterns. Just like for me, honoring my ancestors is one of my core beliefs. I don't do it out loud a lot. I do it internally more than anything. Same with honoring the deities. I do that too. But for me, honoring the ancestors is really huge. Because why? Well, they were there for me throughout. And if it wasn't for my ancestors, I wouldn't be here today. Literally. So I feel like I have an obligation, if you will, to honor them a bit. And now, does that mean I'm going to go out and, sacrifice a goat to my ancestors? No. That's not the kind of beliefs that I have. However, will I honor them and think fond thoughts at them? Yes, absolutely. Will I mention them in my rituals occasionally? Yes, I will, absolutely. If I need guidance, will I ask them? Yes, absolutely. So that's one of those core beliefs that I just won't change. And I'm going to stop there because we're going to the bottom of the hour break. And when we come back, we'll see if Forrest can run. No, I'm kidding. But we'll be right back. Hello, my lovelies. This is Paisley Wild, and we're off adventuring into the spaces between, talking about contemporary paganism and finding that aha. You know, there's not a lot of aha moments in contemporary paganism, unfortunately. I mean, there are some, because, well, that's kind of the nature of things. But is it the way that everybody thinks it is? Well, no, it's not. Sorry, guys. Those aha moments aren't quite what we assume them to be. You know, often we assume aha is like, oh, I just learned that. Oh, that's great. Or like the sun just came up, or a shooting star. You know, and that's not necessarily what it is. An aha moment is often a slow realization of a thing rather than a spontaneous, oh, like a sneeze or a hiccup. It's a lot more subtle than that. And it's not comfortable, I think, for us to realize that most aha moments are a slow process rather than a surprise. You know, this article that I'm referencing, there's some things that are negotiable and non-negotiable when it comes to our daily practice. And yeah, there are some. For me, honoring my ancestors is a non-negotiable thing. It's absolutely going to happen. Something that I may not do is attend a ritual with you every week. That's not... I just don't have the brain space for it. I just don't have the energy. And we can only do what we can do, you know? And so instead of trying to figure out what it is that we should be doing to find our aha streak, instead we should be figuring out what are the pillars of our beliefs? What is the pillars of our traditions? Now, generally speaking, for a dock to be safe, or a deck to be safe, or whatever, a platform to be safe, it needs 4 strong pillars, right? A sturdy house, well, once upon a time, it had to have 4 sturdy corners. And, you know, what is that? You know, what are your 4 pillars? For me, my ancestors are one. The deities, yep, that's one. Absolutely. Family, yep, that's another one. Nature, yep. Well, for me, that's, you know, ancestors and family, are they the same? No, they're 2 different things. So I've got a few pillars. And because community, that's another pillar. I want to make sure I'm giving to my community. And, you know, and when you stop and look at it, you know, what are your pillars? What are the things that you are going to do or pay attention to or observe as the pillars of your faith? And I think that's true regardless of your tradition. Within Christianity, you need to have pillars too. It's not just within paganism. You know, spirituality is spirituality. You still need pillars there. What is it that you believe, or what's going to bring you to it, or help you stay within your path? You know, is it daily ritual work? Is it weekly? Is it monthly? Are you going to honor all the holidays? The Sabbaths, excuse me. How about the SBATs, the full moons? Are you going to do those too? What are you going to do for the community? Or does that matter? Are you more of a solo practitioner and you don't feel compelled to help out the community as a pagan? Instead, you want to just help out the community as a person. Well, you know what? You can do that too. You got to figure out what are your pillars. What are going to be your strengths and the foundations of your belief system? And often that's when getting together with a group of like-minded people is really beneficial, because you can discuss what those different pillars are and how they fit into your life or how they fit into your world. Because honestly, if you don't make time for your pillars, it'll make it harder for you to stick to your path. For me, honestly, my show here is one of my pillars. I think it's important for me to share myself and my path, my journey, with those that are listening or watching. And, if I didn't, would I have the same focus on my path if I didn't do the show every week? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. I know it's really helped me focus in on my path and what I believe and what my pillars are. And man, I gotta tell you, I really like that that I get to do the show and talk to y'all every week. And then I do the 3-cent videos, which, holy cow, I had some really good results. I'm glad y'all liked the 3-cent video about the cookies. That was fun, and I wasn't quite sure where I was going to go with it when I started it, but it worked out and was highly appropriate, I think. So, as I do more of that, whether it's the 3-cent videos or the TikTok or more of these videos or write more books or, have stuff online or do an online class for folks, which I've considered doing. I'd have to think about it, maybe. And, it's definitely something to focus on. What are my foundations? What are the things I want to accomplish? And so when we are looking at our pagan beliefs, and we know what our pillars are, our cornerstones, our foundation, that kind of thing, it's easier to feel comfortable within it. So I know for a lot of folks, it's really hard to come out of the pagan pantry, the broom closet, because they're not sure how people around them are going to respond. And often it's because we're not sure of our pillars. I'm not saying always, because sometimes we just know the people that we're around and whether or not they will respond appropriately to finding out that I'm pagan. Because honestly, there's a lot of folks out there I just don't tell because I just know that I'm not jousting with my pillars, and that's what it would be. It'd be a fight and an argument, and it's just not worth my time and energy. So you got to figure out where are you going to put your energy. So when you have wisdom within your path and an understanding within your path and you're comfortable within your path, that's when it's a lot easier to maybe talk to people about being pagan. Not necessarily proselytizing, because that's not really what we do. And it isn't. It's not like we go, hi, I'm here to talk to you about, Odin. Or, hey, would you like to hear about Kanonos? That's not what we do. We don't hand out flyers or stick them under the windshield wipers and say, hey, have you talked to Hunan and Munin lately? Or do you follow the Horned God? Can you imagine the outcry? Oh, my stars. I almost want to do it for April Fool's one day. I have to tell you. That would be flippin' hilarious. But then that's my sense of humor coming out. Yes. That'd be kind of fun, actually, now that I think about it. I may have to think harder. Because, yeah. Can you imagine that? Everybody go out to the car after church and there's a Ziploc baggie with, a little bit of sage and a flyer about paganism. Oh, I'm just wrong in the head. But, I'm sorry. I'm going to chuckle about that one for a moment. So anyways, yeah, it's, we don't proselytize, but, it's interesting how, people assume, like religion, for instance, everybody's, we say, oh, well, that's not my religion. They're like, oh, well, you're not Christian. It's like, why do people assume that Christianity is always religion when you say the word religion? Just because that's what we know, that's what we've been exposed to. So Deepak Chopra says that religion is a belief in someone else's experience, and spirituality is having your own experience. So now, is that really, what it means? I don't know. In some ways, religion is the dogma. That people follow, or the collective wisdom of those that came before you in that particular tradition. So, Christianity, for instance, has a lot of wisdom within it from those who came before us in this generation. But in a way, I think that's just dogma, honestly. Thursday. Yes, time is fleeting, they say. So when it comes to looking at, spirituality and comparing it to religion, they're two different things. Religion to me is more dogma. It's more, you have to do things this way, or you have to do things that way. And spirituality is an understanding of the path rather than I have to walk the path. It's knowing where it is with your eyes closed. It kind of like if you walk into the bathroom to get a drink of water in the middle of the night, do you turn the light on, or do you know where the cup is so you can turn the faucet on to get a cup of water? Well, I personally like to leave the lights off because otherwise I wake up too much and then I don't go back to sleep. So I like just walk in, I know where the cup is because I know where it is. Just like with spirituality, I know what my path is. I'm still learning on it, but that doesn't mean it's not there. And I can find it with my eyes closed. Religion is having someone, push you on the path and and make you go that way. And you know what? Not everybody's going to believe the same way I do, and I get it. And not everybody's going to think the same way I do, and I get it. That's part of the reason why I'm here, is because I see people in the chat room talking about stuff, and I get emails from my listeners, which are awesome, and I interact with everybody, and I hear your thought processes and your interactions and your ahas and your spirituality. And you know what? I got to tell you, it's awesome. I like it. Because it helps me to keep myself from the dogma of my path, if you will, and keeps me open-minded and open to experiences, and it allows me to experience spirituality more. Kind of like if you go outside at night and you look up at the sky and you see all the stars, shooting stars last night with the meteor shower, how do you feel about that? Does it give you that sense of wonder, that sense of awe? Well, you know what? It does for me. Just because I like space. I would get in a spaceship in a heartbeat, guys. I would just talk to the aliens. They don't have to kidnap me. That's just all there is to it. But if a deer were to walk up to me, a buck came in the backyard and started to talk to me, I would be startled, but then I'd have a conversation. It wouldn't be, it'd be a spiritual moment. It would be an OMG moment, without a doubt, but it wouldn't necessarily be a religious moment. Naysay says, maybe I should go door to door with my drum and pipe and see how quickly the conversions will begin. Yes. If you do that, you should take a video, though, because I want to see that. We often assume that our spiritual path is going to be full of the ahas, and it isn't always. A lot of times it's just the day-to-day life, the day-to-day rituals, the day-to-day practices, the mantras, the the thought processes, the journaling, and the mundanity, if you will. And see, Leo gets it. Leo wants to drive the ship. Me too. And somebody just has to invent the better rocket, for crying out loud. But yeah, our spiritual path is often mundane. We get up every morning, we get dressed, brush our teeth, eat breakfast, go to work or school or whatever. We come home, we spend time with our family, and we have a ritual of some sort in there once in a while, sometimes daily, sometimes not. I try to do one with my coffee every morning. Sometimes I need the coffee before I can coffee, though. And we do the different steps because that's what we need to keep ourselves connected. But it's mundane. It's the day-to-day living. And we need to remember to keep the magic in our day-to-day lives, whether it's, stirring your coffee with intent or, I add lemon to my water every day because, it helps. It makes me feel good. I like the flavor. It helps wake me up. To me, lemon tastes like sunshine. So when I put lemon in my water, I feel like I'm, adding a little sunshine to my day. Oop, hold on. I have a caller, I think. So hold on. Area code 971. You're on the air. Hi. Hey, Justin. How's it going? I love it. That's fine. You can call anytime, honey bunch. So what's on your mind? You've got like 7 minutes. Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm-hmm. Oh, goodness. So, um, for those that couldn't hear, Justin wanted to know if there's a suggestion for where do you start, basically. Well, reading is a good place to start. The Inner Temple of Witchcraft by Scott Cunningham. It's more of a Wiccan book, but it's still a really good beginner book for learning the basics and learning some of the thought processes. And I bet you Leo can hear you now. There was a button that got stepped on. And I really, really liked that one.
Probably partially because I'm into the phone.
And, well, I have cats and they like to step on things, yes. So, yeah, Inner Temple of Witchcraft, I think, is a good one. There is another one, The Path of Paganism is another one by John Beckett. It's a good one. I would.
So are these like historians or
They're just books.
shoot, what do they call it? Like people that look into ancient theologies and religions and that sort of thing, or
The path of paganism is the author is a druid and is a member of two different druidic orders, and so he talks about a lot of the ancient traditions there. Now, the Inner Temple of Witchcraft is Scott Cunningham is more contemporary and not quite so ancient in his beliefs, but he does have a foundation there with the Gardnerian type Wicca. Let's see. Are you called to which deity is called to you? I guess would be the first question I would ask.
well, as far as I know so far, I'm honestly I'm very new to this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even though I've always kind of steered away and studied things altered to Christianity because I was forced into Christianity when I was a kid, you know, and so I've always like looked into everything else, but it's usually been the opposite, like the absolute extreme to Christianity. And I've learned by studying that and dabbling in it that is not good.
Yes.
I've had, the more I dabble into darkness, the darker it gets, and it's really scary when you get in there.
Yes.
So I'm trying to figure out the middle of the road, the happy spot, or how to can actually control this stuff, because it can get very dark.
Yes.
Very fast.
Mm-hmm. It can. Unfortunately, that is, for me, magic in general, witchcraft, paganism. There's no left path. There's no right path. There's no dark. There's no light. It is all the path. It is all magic. It's not dark magic or white magic. It's just magic. And just like any other path, you're going to ebb and flow into light and into dark. And some of it's going to resound more with you, and some of it's going to resound not at all. So I follow Hecate, who's considered a dark goddess, generally speaking. She's assumed to be a goddess of the underworld and of death. But for me, she's very maternal. That is my interpretation of her. Mostly because she's been there for most of my life and has really looked out for me. And you can't be maternal without having some discipline once in a while. And Lordy, did I need it. So it's in learning about the different deities that I've learned more about my own path. So I suppose, Justin, what I would say is maybe you and I need to have a conversation off air to really get into it and talk more about it. So maybe I just
I haven't been drawn necessarily to specifically pagan deities, but I have been drawn toward Shiva for one reason or another. I don't know why it is, but I've always been interested and always leaned that way and felt like I align that way. But that seems like a more malevolent path than.
Well, not really, because Shiva is considered the auspicious one. Specifically, he's the third god in the Hindu triumvirate, and was known for the creation, upkeep, and destruction of the world. It's really hard to create something if you don't destroy something first.
Right.
We've only got like
I'm scared
30
of the destruction
seconds.
part.
You know what? You and I just need to have a chat. I will send you an email and we'll schedule a time to talk about things and see if I can help you focus on a direction.
Let's please do that.
Okay. I will send you an email and
I would really.
so we can figure out what time is good for you for a good solid hour of conversation.
That would be super awesome.
Okay.
I would really enjoy that.
All right. I will send you an email when we get done off the show tonight. And we can just chat tomorrow. And see what you think. So, just like that, it's the end of the night. Can you believe it? You're really good at calling 10 minutes before the show ends.
Yeah, I don't want to take up too much time of your show, so I try to call like 15 minutes before the show.
You can call earlier. It's all good. So, on that note, though, it's the end of the show. We'll see you tomorrow night. So, merry meet and merry part and merry meet again. And Justin, I'll give you an email. See you tomorrow.
Big love.